This is Before the Pitch, where you can love New York baseball no matter what shade of blue you are wearing. I am Scott, the Yankee fan. Today we are going to talk about a rule change proposal that is going to be experimented about in the minor leagues this year. And of course, baseball fans are up in arms about this because why would a baseball fan be open to any change or compromise in any way? But lucky for you guys, you got me to tell you why this change is a good thing, and you guys should be very excited for this. What this change is going to do is going to require a left-handed pitcher to have to step off the rubber in order to make the effort to pick off to first base, because left-handed pitchers actually up until this point have the advantage over the runner when trying to pick them off, because they have the ability to lift their right leg and then decide whether they are going to go home or go to first base. This is such an advantage for the pitcher because he can wait until the runner makes a move towards second base before he can visibly see and then decide to pick him off. And the problem is you can do it so quickly and there's no foreshadowing to it. It could just happen so instantly. As a result, a lot of times with left-handed pitchers, runners are really going to hug closer to the bag and they're not going to take the chance to steal at all. And this doesn't just affect base stealing. He's hugging the bag even more. Now double plays are going to happen more often. And while double plays are great if you're the fielding team, it doesn't always make for the most entertaining kind of baseball. But let me expand on that part in a bit. Here's the thing. This is very in line with the intent of a lot of rule changes baseball is trying to bring out, which are going to be somehow depowering the pitcher in some way in order to influence offense and influence runs scored. I've been saying for so long, baseball is the most exciting when people are on base because that adds suspense and it elongates the suspense. Think about it. If you have a man on second, it's exciting for the fielding team. It's also exciting for the hitting team. If you're the hitter, now you're going to wonder, how are we going to get him to score? If we're going to get him to score, what's the best place to hit the ball? Once he does hit the ball, is he going to come around third? Is he going to score? Is he going to hold up? Maybe he does hold up. We can do a sacrifice fly or maybe a sacrifice ground ball, a suicide squeeze. Just by putting a guy in second, now you're adding possibilities, and it lasts for pitches and it will last for at-bats, and it gets stuff going, and that's what's going to make it interesting. If you're the fielding team, this is also exciting because now you have to worry about, cool, how are we going to make sure this run is not going to score? Now we need to make sure we make a great stop and a great play. What if he does hit a single? Oh my lord, we got to make sure we get a good throw, make sure we tag him out. And those plays are always so exciting. The problem we have now is high home run, high strikeout baseball does not get people on base, and as a result, the game gets kind of boring because not much is happening in the filler times. Here's the thing, it's going to be kind of hard for a lot of people to admit this, but good pitching is kind of boring to a lot of people. Now, if you're saying, whoa, why are we changing the game for people who don't appreciate baseball? I have a whole video as to why it is important to appeal to the casual fan. That's right over here. But even myself, who absolutely is in love with this game, I even get bored a lot of times with very good pitching games on both sides. Obviously, I appreciate what's going on, especially if my team's doing it, but let's be real, when people aren't on base and stuff isn't happening, it gets kind of boring to watch sometimes, and the ratings and attendance is really reflecting that. Keep in mind, they tried this in the Atlantic League last year. We got two really important changes. Number one, double plays went down, which means we're keeping guys on base. And the reason why it's happening is because guys are getting further off the bag and they're able to get to second base better, which might make double plays even more exciting. And it gives your team hope, if you're the hitting team, that you can be productive in the ground ball in the infield because it might not be as much of a guaranteed 2 outs. And that even links to the launch angle swing, because one of the big points about it is if you strike out, cool, fine, at least you're not getting a double play with 2 outs. So you can't help but wonder, well, if the chances of us still keeping runners on by putting the ball in play is greater, maybe hitters will take a different approach to hitting that might not require strikeouts. Maybe now we can make the effort to put the ball in play more because we have more of a chance of making something happen and being productive with our at-bats. The other thing we noticed in the Atlantic League was stolen bases went up, and obviously so, because again, people aren't hugging the bag, and people are more ballsy to make moves and make stuff happen. Now, before you go ahead and say, oh my gosh, it's ruining the game, it's really not. Keep in mind, your left-handed pitcher still has the advantage because he doesn't have to completely spin around. There already is a technique to stepping off with the left foot and throwing over to first base. That's not an uncommon pickoff move. Now, it'll just be the only one. And quite frankly, it's actually kind of fair because when you really think about the Andy Pettitte pickoff move, as someone who was very good at base stealing in high school and college, I hated lefty pitching. It was very difficult. I always thought, even all the way back to Little League, that was kind of a cheap pickoff move. But again, the left-handed pitcher, you still have the advantage over the right-handed pitcher because the righty would have to step off and completely turn around. If you're lefty, you don't. You just make a quick step and throw. So you still have this quick advantage. You're really not losing anything. And I saw someone online say, oh, but an 18-year-old asked me, how on earth can we control the running game now? I'll tell you how. You get good at it and you suck it up. Here's what actually angers me a little bit, is the people who don't realize how completely overpowered the pitcher is compared to everybody else on the field, especially the batters and the runners, that even when we make the slightest change just to even the odds, just a tad bit, people lose their absolute minds. Here's the thing, baseball's about more than just you. We need to make stuff happen. We need to make this game more exciting. And it's not just about you being able to throw 100 miles an hour and strike a million people out. We need to see offense. We need to see stuff happen. We need to see base stealing. We need to see a bunch of stuff get moving. And guess what? Baseball has not been getting moving recently. And I think this is great because as the Atlantic League showed, it's making stuff happen. Now we get to see if this is actually going to work in the minor leagues. This is something I would love to see in the major leagues. Again, we need to make stuff happen, and I'm very excited for this, and hopefully you guys are too. Hey, if you like this video, make sure you comment and subscribe. We have an actual podcast up now. Thankfully, we've been working on this for a long time, where we have teamed up with Coach Chris, who is helping us take the intent towards making sure we educate kids on the game, get kids and families interested. So in the description, we will provide the links to those podcasts. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at B4Pitch, and as always, we will see you guys next time because we talk baseball because we know major sports networks do not.